Hi, I'm Brett Parker, multimedia specialist for Dairy Foods Magazine. And today we're focusing on Oikos, who is joining forces with Swipe Out Hunger, a national nonprofit powering the movement to end college student hunger. This partnership will allow Oikos to support more schools, students, and college athletes facing nutrition insecurity. Here to discuss this is Whitney Evans, Director of Nutrition and Scientific Affairs at Danone North America. Whitney, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Brett.
So, can you tell us the inspiration behind the partnership with Swipe Out Hunger?
Sure. So, Oikos partnered with Swipe Out Hunger this past year in 2025, really to help increase the impact that the Oikos Nutrition Sponsorship Program can have. So, historically, we've partnered with a single school, and this year we were able to partner with two additional schools and bring Swipe Out Hunger to both of those campuses for the first time ever. Swipe Out Hunger is a really unique organization, and that, as you mentioned at the start, its primary goal is to end college hunger. And it does so through some really unique partnerships, both locally as well as nationally. Specifically, it will bring partnerships in from local food banks, allowing for school food pantries to get the food or get access to those local food banks. And additionally, it works with the school food service providers to help increase access to the dining halls and to meal programs. And so, to that end, what we're really able to do is increase the potential for a long term or sustainable impact as part of the Oikos Nutrition Sponsorship Program, in addition to the elements of the program that are specific to Oikos.
I was wondering if you could talk about how exactly the program physically works and what resources go back to the students.
Yeah, definitely. So, really, over the last 9 months or so, I've been working with colleagues. I inherited this project from a colleague of mine who was really the brains behind putting it together. And for the last 9 months, we've been really trying to understand how is this program going to look differently. One, because of our partnership with Swipe Out Hunger, but two, this year we're really combining the sponsorship program with an educational component that is being provided by registered dietitians. So I've had the opportunity over the last 2 months to see the program come to life at our two schools that we've partnered this year. The first is Prairie View A&M University in Texas, and the second is Grambling State University in Louisiana. So there are two primary components of the Oikos Nutrition Sponsorship Program. The first is to improve nutrition access. And as I mentioned, a lot of that is being done in partnership with Swipe Out Hunger, who's really working on the school's infrastructure with respect to the food pantries, as well as with the school food service provider, excuse me. But in addition to that, Oikos provides both product donations as well as a financial donation that is to be used to increase access to healthy snack options on campus. So those nutrition resources, the products that we're donating to the campus, are split between the athletic fueling stations, which are typically housed within the athletic department. Strength and conditioning coaches sort of have manage that program, as well as to support the anti-hunger efforts on campus. So we provided both refrigerators to outfit those two locations on campuses, as well as our product donations go to those two locations on campus, so that both athletes as well as the general student population have access to nutrient-dense snack options. And then the second component is the one I mentioned earlier, and that is the provision of nutrition education in partnership with expert dietitians. So this year we partnered with two experienced sports dietitians who have both worked with professional sports teams and athletes to develop educational materials that will be relevant for college student athletes. They have specific nutritional needs in the context of their demanding educational and academic pursuits. Educational and athletic pursuits. And so these two sports dietitians helped us to develop a robust curriculum that is now being delivered by three newly licensed registered dietitians whom they are mentoring. These three dietitians work directly with the teams at each school to identify what nutritional needs are really most at the forefront for them, given their unique sport as well as their gender. And they then deliver that nutrition education accordingly over the course of the year.
Were there any research data points regarding the students and their diets that alarmed you at all?
You know, to be honest with you, Brett, we didn't really look into the exact dietary makeup of the collegiate athlete or the college student, but I'd have to say the statistic that really alarmed me most was one coming out of Temple University's Hope Center. And that was essentially that among 4-year college students, roughly 37% of them identify as experiencing food insecurity. And to be honest, I was astounded by that number. It's higher than the national average of food insecurity and translates to roughly every 2 in 5 students reporting that they don't have a reliable or sufficient access to nutrition. And that might not be surprising to all your listeners, given the rising costs of education and food, but it certainly highlights the need for interventions and programs like this one.
Now, how do you feel students adding dairy to their diets could add value to their sports and education careers?
So, as I mentioned, the Oikos nutrition sponsorship does provide dairy snacks directly to the school. I think if Oikos is known for anything, it's known for its ethos of strength makes everything stronger, makes everything better. Excuse me, and we do that through our nutrient dense offerings. So, in as part of the Oikos nutrition sponsorship program, schools have monthly orders that they place for our Oikos Triple Zero, which is a 15-gram Greek or 15-gram protein Greek yogurt that also provides a good source of calcium and vitamin D, as well as our new Oikos protein shakes, which provide 30 grams of protein, 5 grams of fiber, and an excellent source of calcium, and then vitamins A and D. However, I really want to emphasize that the program is so much more than just providing nutrient-dense dairy options. What we know about the schools that we've partnered with, particularly with Prairie View and Grambling State, is that they are both in the midst of food deserts, meaning that it's really difficult for the students on campus to gain access outside of the university. So they're really sort of beholden to their university and perhaps some nearby stores to provide the most of their nutrition, which can be a challenge, especially when you have the demanding rigors of an academic schedule and an athletic schedule that doesn't allow you to necessarily be in the dining halls when they're open for meal service, or precludes you from being able to drive 20 minutes away to the nearest full service grocery store. And you add on top of that sort of the financial restraints of being a college student and needing to pay for both your education as well as your food and taking care of your nutrition. And it really highlights that it's not surprising that 37% of these students are experiencing food insecurity. And so I think when we think about the Oikos nutrition sponsorship program, we really focus on the fact that we're helping to build up the food pantries, and so that students have a more reliable access to food and nutrition when things like the dining halls aren't open, or that athletes can go to the fueling stations that we've helped outfit and regularly provide product to, so that when they need a snack to fuel before practice or recover after practice, they're able to get that. And the funding that we're providing is, yes, to support the product donations, but it's also to allow these athletic directors and coaches the opportunity to purchase other nutrient-dense snack options to have available to their student athletes. So when I think about the program more globally, I think about the fact that, yes, we are increasing access to nutrition in theory, but we really don't have data points yet. So we're eager to really learn from what the program is able to achieve this year, and then how we can continue to make it better and evolve the program going forward to ensure that we are moving the needle on access to nutrient-dense foods for these students and athletes.
Has this initiative taught you anything new about charitable efforts in general?
I joined Danone 2.5 years ago after a 10-year career in research in an academic institution. And during that time, I worked on several research studies that were really designed to address food insecurity in public housing, in particular, the role that food insecurity can play in the development of obesity. And this is the first time I've really been part of a program that's being sponsored by a brand. And regardless of a project's funding, whether it's for research or an impact program like the new Oikos nutrition sponsorship program, I'm again struck by the complexities that lead to such common food insecurity, and really the need for robust or multi-pronged approaches to address it. I think when I was on campus at some of the two schools that we're funding this year, you recognize how much living in a food desert can impact your access to food. And I think that's why I'm so excited about the partnership with Swipe Out Hunger, the fact that we were able to expand to 2 universities this year as opposed to just serving one, as well as the fact that we have opportunities like this one today and meeting with you to bring awareness to the fact that food insecurity is such a prevalent issue, particularly on college campuses. And as I mentioned earlier, I think the best thing about the Oikos nutrition sponsorship program is that the leadership in the brand is really committed to continuing to evolve the program as we learn what works in universities, as we partner with organizations like Swipe Out Hunger and have the opportunity to understand how their expertise really moves the needle on food access and food insecurity, in sort of service of supporting the next generation of students and athletes in an area where the need is really greatest.
Well, it's a great cause we're happy to bring awareness to. That's all the time that we have for today. Whitney Evans of Danone North America, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Brett.
And thank you all for watching.